The rabbit holes are deep on this week's episode of Implicit Bias. I am your host, Kevon Bordelon. This is Implicit Bias Radio. Joining us here in the Mr. Lester's top secret podcast lair, we've got the rustic renegade himself. He's at the bar with Chef Willie from Mr. Lester's Steakhouse at Cypress Bayou Casino, the only 5-star restaurant between New Orleans and Houston. In the chair like mine, which is sort of a juxtaposition of normal seating situations here on the show, Kathleen, the real deal Terrio, has kicked Caleb out of his normal seat. How did you manage that, Kathleen?
My bad, bro.
Did you just like grab him by the back of the neck and be like, get out?
Oh, gosh, no. It was his choice.
Oh, his choice. Okay.
But wait, where's the chair of intoxication?
The chair of intoxication was usually the chair to my right. And the good news is the chair of intoxication has kind of gone away. I'm thrilled you brought that up because we used to have fun with that.
I miss it. Well, I always ended up sitting in it.
Well, and it's been a while since you've been on the show.
Correct.
And it's been a while since you've been consuming alcohol
Correct.
because of your situation with the newborn. So as we would expect, we need to maybe reinstate the chair of intoxication, Caleb.
You know, now that I think about it, since I haven't been pouring everyone's whiskey at a round table, we're definitely leaving here more sober.
No doubt. Well,
did you see that first pour you gave us?
You and I are leaving
okay,
about the same, but there are others who were,
Yeah.
Then again, we do have the CWAT, who has been good.
Very
What?
He's had some
valid.
Certified Wizard of Tobacco,
Oh.
a.k.a.
He felt pretty
Louisiana's
good.
only
He
certified
felt pretty
master
good when
tobacconist,
we
Rene
recorded.
Girard. Yeah.
He felt pretty good.
Was he drunkle?
I think he was on the cusp, and my buddy Brant, I think, beat him to it.
Oh, you had somebody beat Rene to drunkle?
Oh yeah, you look at Walker's face. Yeah, it was.
Well, okay, Walker, spill the beans. I wasn't here for that
Wait,
show.
when was this?
I haven't
Oh,
had a
at the
chance
show.
to listen to it. What happened?
Oh, he was sitting over there in the corner. We go to a
Tried to
break,
keep up.
shoot across, fill his cup up,
Yeah.
sit every segment, boom, 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 or boom, 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 and
Wait, how was he?
Boom, boom, boom,
boom,
boom.
boom, 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 boom. He was off everywhere, and
It happens fast.
yeah,
Was he able to make it out of the top secret podcast lair under his own power?
Oh yeah, look, and I talked to him. I was like, "Look, do you need a driver? You need this. Like, we take care of our own.
Okay,
right? We
good. I
want
was
you to-
about to say, I'm glad he didn't drive
don't
home.
drink and drive. Be
We're
responsible.
not doing that. Yeah.
And it was a moment.
That's why if you go to Mr. Lester Steakhouse at Cypress Bayou, stay at the hotel.
Stay right there.
Yes.
It's
The
how far
hotel
is
is
the walk?
fantastic.
The walk's like 35 seconds.
Oh, it's a little longer than that.
Well,
Depends on
I've
how you're
walked.
walking, how much you drink.
I walked behind Grant. It's like 5 minutes.
I finally got to stay. I stayed for the snowpocalypse.
You stayed at the hotel
stayed
for
at
the
the hotel.
snowpocalypse?
I did.
And I heard you
First
guys
time.
had some water issues as well. I mean, it got cold.
Mm-hmm.
It got real cold.
Oh yeah.
So
Record-breaking cold.
yeah. I mean, literally the coldest in the recorded history of Lafayette, Southern Louisiana. And I don't say like not because what they'll do is they'll break records out like coldest record on this date versus coldest record of
missed
this
it.
month.
Like, I regret it. I missed 10 inches of snow. It was -3 at my house. Like,
No, it was 3 at your house. The
3,
wind
not
chill might have
minus.
been
no,
-3.
no. My wife posted a picture of our thermostat outside. I have a
Really?
little thermometer. It was -2, -3.
Caleb, you're just upset that you missed 10 inches. So, all right, let's go
Look,
ahead
the
and
only
dive-
time she sees
just
10
about to
inches
say
is
that.
when I
No,
bounce through
don't-
3
don't-
mirrors.
Okay,
Oh,
so
Jesus.
let's go ahead and get past that and let's dive back into what I teased in last segment, which was the greatest media scandal in history. If you are under the age of 30 or 40, you might not have learned about the muckraker era of U.S. journalism. So the muckraker era, yellow journalism, was a thing. The New York Times, the New York Post got into a competition and basically, I don't want to say they were making up stories, but they were looking for nothing but sensationalist headlines. They were looking for all this. That was bad. It was terrible because media was utilizing the public as its pawn. Until we started to get the USAID stories. That was definitely the worst era in journalism, certainly in the history of the United States. What we have now today, what we know from transparency. And Kathleen, you actually, and we didn't go back to that, so I'm going to start going down this road. You asked, why didn't Trump know?
Oh, yeah.
You asked, why didn't people see this? Well, it's partially because the fourth branch, the fourth estate, wasn't doing its job. Right? No one was saying, hey, these things are going on. Well, don't tell me they didn't know, because all this stuff was available. It was out there. But nobody knew where to go research it, where to get it, how to find it. So then you say, how does Trump not know? Because he's leading the government. Well, Trump doesn't know because USAID isn't given specifics about, hey, here's where to spend the money and how to spend it. They are allocated a budget, and USAID spends it, which means all of this cry, this BS, this in the corner, yelling and screaming, we didn't vote for this. You know what? Nobody voted for what you had before. So zip it, zippy long stocking, right? I mean, the reality is it's a bunch of unelected bureaucrats deciding where to spend your money and my money. And you got 5-year-olds in the corner who are so upset about, oh, we found it. But you're not upset about what they were doing with it in the first place? The f is wrong with you?
I want to know what is in the gift bags
Who knows?
that are being sent home with the illegal people that they're deporting.
Who knows? Who cares? And here's why I say who cares, because we're never going to know, because the fourth estate is not going to report it. Why? And why is this the biggest media scandal of all time? I'm going to tell you. And this is where we get to that, man, I don't want to do that. I feel guilty about saying we called this. I feel guilty about saying that we were on this train years ago. It's because the media was on the damn payroll. Politico will probably be completely out of business. Why? Because the only people funding Politico was the government telling them what stories to run. Because don't tell me that they were getting tens of millions of dollars from the US government and it came with absolutely no strings. I was born at night, not last night. I worked in the television news media. I know how this works. Politico is on the hook. The New York Times is on the hook. The Associated Press is on the hook. Reuters is on the hook, which means that the international news source is also on the dole. The freaking British Broadcasting Company, owned by the British government, is getting paid from you and me. And if you think they're not being told what stories to tell, oh, I'm sorry that your IQ doesn't hit the level that it needs to hit to connect those dots. But that's the truth. Please don't believe us on this one. And yeah, it ticks me off. Why does it tick me off? Because I used to work in the business full time. It was my only real gig. And I got in the business to tell people the truth and let them make up their own minds, which means that where they are today when they're on the payroll is that they are not telling you the news. They are telling you the propaganda that your government wants them to tell you, or certain segments. Because let's face it, we're seeing that some Republicans are on the hook here. We're not saying that Republicans are completely innocent, because we're now seeing that like Republican national organizations are getting paid as well. They're all on the hook. The only way they continue to make money is if you and I believe that you're wrong and I believe that you're completely wrong and that we have nothing in common. And that's the big secret that they don't want coming out, is that their entire existence depends upon you and I disagreeing. These are the same people who will stand in front of reporters at the exact same time in two different interviews, and one will say something bad about the other will say something bad about the first one, and then 40 minutes later, those two same SOBs are sitting in a restaurant in Washington, D.C., getting a $10,000 meal paid by some freaking lobbyist. That's the big point with all of this scandal. Caleb, I see you nodding over there. You've seen this. You've just seen it overseas where the U.S. goes and hands out dollars to buy favors, correct?
The company that I used to work for, we used to escort people around, and sometimes you would have USAID and others. And when we walk up and are paying $100,000 of U.S. taxpayer money to look at and appraise a stamp collection, we're talking about more than just stamps.
Yep.
So the wanton waste that our government has is for a purpose.
Wait, you mean like Chinese chips, wontons?
Fried wontons.
Yum.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
So like, if you think that we just happen to waste this money and there's no purpose, you're ignorant. There is a purpose. Our government is out of control, but why is it out of control? Where's the money going? What are we buying? That's what it comes down to. And look, the left and the right will tell you we're buying security. We're spending this money in Iraq. We're spending this money in Syria to buy security.
Chef Willie, what'd you say about everybody all over the world? Give them the mic real quick.
They all hate us.
Regardless,
Absolutely.
you can't buy people liking you.
No.
What you can buy are people's indebtedness to you. It's two different things. And as we are wrapping up this segment, I'm actually going to quote my brother, who's just one of those people who, you know, he and books didn't always get along, but he always got it in one way, shape, or form. Street smarts to the nth degree. And he looked at me when I was at a very early age. And his nickname for me was Ace. He said, Ace, always remember this. It's not about how easy you can buy people. It's about how cheaply you can buy people. And now we are seeing that on a governmental scale. Stick around. More Implicit Bias Radio after this.